The meeting of September 4th, 2025 will come to order. Do we have any special intentions today? No special intentions? Father Luis, if you will, lead us in prayer. We'd appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given to us and for this opportunity to be able to gather as a council in our city of Kenner. We ask that you continue to pour your blessings upon our dear city of Kenner, upon all those who are in civil authority over us, all those who protect us and guide us and lead us as we foster and try our best to forge a community that is filled with your love and with your generosity for those who are in need. We ask that you bless all of our deliberations, all that we share here, and may everything that we may share be done always for your glory, for your honor, and for your praise, but most of all, because we love you. We ask all of this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Father, thank you very much for coming and doing the prayer for us. And now, if we will, Madam Clerk, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request to change the order of business to take item 18A at the beginning of the meeting. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat, to change the order of business. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under item 18, new business, item 18A, at the request of the administration, an executive session regarding Amparo Lambert Morales versus the City of Kenner, Kenner Police Department et al., 24th Judicial District Court number 753-525, Division D. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat, to adjourn into executive session. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. The council will now be in executive session. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat, to reconvene from executive session. All council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Next, we have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. At this time, we'd like to introduce Mr. Jimmy Aiken with Entergy, who's going to make a few comments. If you could, please come to the podium.
Mr. Aiken,
Hello, council.
how you?
I've been better. No, I'm okay. Doing great. I've been asked to come here to speak on the recent outages in Driftwood by Councilman Lahat. So I just wanted to come today and address these issues. I do know that we have some people in attendance right now and maybe have some people online watching. So over the last, I would say, 3 weeks, we've had 5 outages in 14 days in a certain sliver of Driftwood and then to the western part of Kenner, which is a feeder called 313 out of Pontchartrain Substation, which is the substation on the corner of West Esplanade and Power. I understand, first and foremost, I'd like to apologize to our customers, your constituents. I know these are residents, these are business owners. These outages have impacted their business, their livelihood. Some people work from home, so I do want to apologize for that. The first 2 outages that we had on feeder 313, I've brought a little show and tell item right here, was actually due to a faulty insulator. So when our crews rode the lines out, the insulator was actually sitting like this. Now what this insulator does is it has our, we call phases or power lines that sit on this. It's very hard to tell from the ground exactly how the insulator is sitting. And so when we first rode the lines, we did not see that the insulator was sitting just like this, which caused another outage as well the next day. So this right here caused 2 outages on both the Monday and Tuesday that went back to back. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. So our crews went and rode feeder 313. And just for everybody's clarification, a feeder is what brings the electricity to what we call lateral. So y'all have underground in Driftwood, and then on the other side they have overhead. But the feeder runs out of the substation and carries the electricity into what we call laterals that then go into the neighborhoods and feed your homes. So this caused a fault in our line, which backed up all the way to the substation. So we were able to replace this feeder. There was actually a crack in the feeder as well. But what happened was when the line was sitting on the cross arm, or when the feeder was bent upside down like this, and the line was sitting right here, even if it was a little bit of moisture, there was some rain, but we did have an outage where it was a blue sky day. Even if there was a little moisture in between this line and the wood there, it was going to cause the electricity to track, which would have caused an outage. So what we did was we replaced this insulator on one of the feeder poles, and then we rode all the feeder poles as well to ensure that we didn't see any kind of extensive damage to any other insulators there. We also had an outage on Saturday. There was a little bit of rain there. However, this was caused to our conductors being too close together. There was a sag in the conductor, and the conductor holds our wire lines together. So the lines actually, we call it slapping, but basically what it is was the lines were touching each other, which caused them to cause a fault in the line, which backed up all the way to the breaker. The breaker operated, but then couldn't reclose, so it was left open. So that's why you had 1,400 customers without power. Since then, what we've done was we went and replaced the crossarm that had the insulators on the conductors, so that way the lines wouldn't touch. So even if it was a little bit of wind, if it wasn't heavy rain, those lines that were touching together will also track, and that'll cause the power to, or cause a fault in the line to then back up all the way to the substation. Since then, we've worked with our reliability team. The team has gone and we are going to ride feeder 313. Now feeder 313 runs all the way out of the substation, runs down West Esplanade towards Williams, and then turns down Williams down past like Driftwood and all that area, heading towards the lake. They're going to ride 313, the feeder. They're going to ensure that there's no loose cross arms, there's no conductors that are flipped or broken or anything like that, and they're just going to ensure that there's no rotted poles. If there are rotted poles, they're going to conduct a plan to get that over to engineering as quickly as possible, and then from there we will go ahead and replace those poles just to ensure that our reliability is where it needs to be. I've sat up here couple months ago and months ago before that prior, talking about some of the outages that we had on feeders 316, 324, and 333, which also powers the eastern portions of Driftwood and then all back along the lake, along Vintage there. Since then, we've replaced 11 poles on 316, 25 poles on 324, and 11 poles on 333. We've also installed some self-healing networks, and as you can see, y'all don't know this, but the night that 313 tripped, 333 and 316 tripped as well, and both of those went back in. So the work that we're doing, the upgrades that we're making to our power grid, especially along the power and all across the state, but especially right here in Kenner, it's working. The things we're doing are working. So I just wanted to kind of give the council and our your constituents, our customers, a little bit of rundown on exactly what happened and what we're doing to eliminate those outages and improve our reliability to our customers. And then I can open it to questions, and certainly happy to talk from there.
Councilman Lahab.
Thank you, Councilman Wilmot. Mr. Aiken with Energy, thank you for coming today, and I really appreciate Energy always being responsive. Let me get into some data real quick, and then I'll get into some of the things you said. This was given to me by Joseph Occhipinti, who lives in Driftwood, and these perpetual outages, as of this year, recently have affected mainly West Driftwood, the businesses south of West Esplanade, right there in District 2, the streets Bimini, Granada, Coronado, Monterey, Nassau, Martinique, all of West Driftwood. And the data I have, the outages this year, just that area, March 15th, April 21st, June 15th, June 22nd, July 26th, which is during the LSU championship game, August 7th, August 20th, August 22nd, August 23rd, and August 29th. And I have a total outage of that in 14 hours and 53 minutes. We've had a lot of history since I've been in the seat, and y'all have definitely been in the neighborhood doing some upgrades to the underground transformer repairs. My concern right now is, I heard you explain the insulator and how the power arc through the broken insulator you brought. I was told that issue was fixed, and then the outage on the Saturday happened, and of course the residents here are out of their minds, because I've experienced this too. And when the power goes out in Driftwood, you know, I don't have residents just texting me. My kids come out of the room and say, "Dad, why is the power out?" So I have kids mad at me, and my wife mad at me, I have my friends mad at me, I have my constituents mad at me, and all I can tell them is that I'm going to talk to you, and you know, the Public Service Commission does regulate you guys, and y'all are responsive to me. I'm never going to talk about communication, but I'm upset because the insulator issue was explained to me, and now there's an issue with the conductor lines. And
It was two separate issues. So just so you know, it was two separate issues. This right here for the two first outages was found off of West Esplanade and Power. The conductor issue was found off of Williams by Bolero, the bowling alley.
Okay.
Two completely separate issues, but yes, it's still unacceptable that you witnessed 5 outages in a 10-day span, and then especially all the outages that you had. Now, some of those outages that you did send or that you did state there have been public inflicted damage where cars have hit poles, etc. There has been some issues where we have had equipment issues. So I can say that
I totally get car hit the poles. I totally get hurricane events. Look, I gave you guys a ton of credit during Hurricane Francine. Y'all had my area up and running within 48 hours. You were absolutely awesome during that hurricane event. I gave y'all a ton of credit, and I like your communication, but I do understand the residents here today in West Driftwood, because I've experienced myself since I've been in the seat. The whole district used to blow out every time one of these issues have happened. And y'all did make upgrades to the Pontchartrain substation, to the reclosure system, the breaker system. I've had to learn these terms as I've gotten in. So the reclosure system is supposed to stop the entire neighborhoods from blowing if we have an event like this. Is that correct?
No, so the recloser system will help a certain portion of the neighborhoods. It's not going to, so if there's a fault upstream, it'll protect downstream. So therefore, it's one of those things where it'll, self-healing network or recloser, it'll close. So that way, if there was going to be 1,500 to 2,000 customers with those self-healing networks, now you might only see 500 customers that are interrupted by an outage. It'll still be an outage, but it won't be nearly as many customers impacted by the outage.
And you said that the reclosure didn't operate on the conductor line issue?
I'm sorry.
This the conductor line problem, the reclosure did not operate in this
There was
instance?
no recloser on this issue.
Why?
There was no recloser on 313.
Okay. Is it not supposed to operate like that, or is that just another?
There's
Go-
just not a recloser on that self-healing, or there's no self-healing network on 313 yet. So there's no recloser on that feeder.
Can y'all install one there?
So we are working right now with our reliability team to
Okay.
get those installed. So that's another thing that we're doing right now.
Okay.
And that's on top of all the things that we've done for those other 3 feeders. 313 has not been a problem feeder for us in the past. So we look at metrics, we look at data. 316, 324, and 333 used to always go at. I would get phone calls from you at all various portions of the day telling me that you did not have power, Driftwood didn't have power. So we convened with our reliability team, with our engineers, with our design team, and we conducted a full walk down on all of on those 3 feeders that I've just mentioned. Same thing's gonna happen on 313 now.
Okay.
We're gonna do a full investigation on the entire feeder. We're gonna ride it out. We're gonna look for quick wins, which means any kind of cross-arm repairs that need to get done, any poles that need to be replaced. Then we're gonna look at installing self-healing networks as well. On top of that, we've upgraded a ton of equipment within our substation, and that was something that we looked at too. We proactively
I know that,
changed
yeah.
the relay. We're waiting on 4 switch gears right now, and this used to be a huge issue for us at the substation level. Now we're looking at, 313 was obviously not performing to everybody's standards and liking. So we are going to now our team's now going to dive deeper into that to make sure that we're able to provide quality reliability to your constituents.
Okay. I appreciate all that, and I think hopefully it does help some of the residents know that your attention is on them at this point for West
Yeah.
Driftwood. The business owners and that lease a Como at Como Pharmacy, they were really upset when the last time
I
it
got
went
the
out.
phone call from Valerie, so I know.
And,
She was
look,
in Como Pharmacy. I think I
can't
got
open the
called every
business.
name in the book. So
And Driftwood's, an old neighborhood. We have, it's been around 50, 60 years now. We have many residents who have health issues, and no one wants their power out, but you can't have the power out during the Louisiana weather. Councilman Wilmot, I know Councilman Brannigan wants to ask questions, but I would request that any residents that want to maybe follow up, ask some questions while Jimmy is here, you permit them to do so, if that's okay?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and then you can
I'm going to let
defer to George.
Councilman Brannigan speak
The only
first.
question I had, what is that equipment called right there?
this is an insulator.
Insulator. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so is that attached to the arm? Is it screwed to the arm?
Yeah, it's into the cross arm.
Okay,
yes.
and then the
the wire
cable
sits
sits
on
on top?
You got it.
Is there something holding the wire on top of
It
it?
just sits right.
Just sits right on it.
It just sits right on top of it. And she's an engineer, so she can. Just so everybody knows, I'm not lying.
Okay. That's it.
Fact check me.
At this time, Jimmy, I'm going to let some of the citizens, if they have questions, to come up and to the podium one at a time. And if you will, I'm going to let them speak, and then you can speak after.
Yep,
So
no
that way
problem.
they'll have, instead of going back and forth.
Perfect.
Okay? Yes, sir, you can come up. If you will, your name and your district.
My name is Rod Solorsino. I live in Driftwood subdivision. I'm Councilman Lahat's constituent.
Hey, if you can speak a little closer to the microphone. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Now, lately, there seems to have been an increase in the frequency of power outages, as we're discussing here. In a recent week, there were 3 separate incidents in that week. There have been no coincident severe weather occurrences to explain some of these. I started a log, but Mr. Ochapinti beat me to it. His goes back 6 months. Mine's only 3-4 weeks old now. I did a little bit of research. Of course, it's subject to error because it's internet. But I was able to find out that in other extensive grids, they have documented possible causes for recurring outages. Chief amongst them in terms of probabilities or likelihood is equipment age or lack of maintenance or whatever. And then you have, of course, wildlife, vegetation, etc. I have a report on this that I would like to make available to the council for their perusal, not at this meeting, obviously. But let me see. And I would be able to explain as much as I can, although I'm not an expert in this. Now, the report gives several possible causes to intermittent failures that are not accompanied by weather incidents. Chief amongst this, in terms of likelihood, is equipment issues. And it could be, again, outdated, poorly maintained equipment, but primarily in Driftwood, we have what is known as a URD system, underground residential distribution, meaning that the transformers are below grade and subject to intrusion by water, by what is known as a water tree, which essentially is the deterioration of cables, which will allow water to come in. Now, you do have 3 separate issues, which was addressed by the gentleman from Entergy. However, all these could be subsumed after due study of it into one set of causes. And I would like to present a short anecdote to illustrate the issue. 2 years ago, and I remember it well because it was Thanksgiving, 3 Entergy trucks spent the day parked in front of my house trying to resolve an issue with an underground transformer that had pretty much shot its usefulness. And they spent several hours waiting for the replacement. None was forthcoming. So they actually had to install what's known as equipment that's on a pad right on the sidewalk, a stopgap measure, which I was immensely grateful to because I was able to have dessert at 7 o'clock at night with electricity. Before that, I had candles. It was great because we were thanking the Lord for the blessings. We had a minor inconvenience. Point being that it was a stopgap measure until they could find the proper underground transformer. Well, that was 2 years ago. That transformer is still sitting above ground. It's blocking the street. I have seen personally a lady pushing a baby carriage that had to go into the street in order to go around it. And it can be dangerous. Now, yeah, you could say an option is to go on the lawn, but it's kind of hard to push certain little carriages like that. Point being is that it seems, I may be being unfair, but the perception is that once the stopgap was achieved, it was forgotten. And 2 years later, we are still dealing with an improper equipment being installed on a city sidewalk. If a homeowner were to do this with his sidewalk, the inspector would be there, possibly within 24 hours,
Okay, if you,
and rightfully so.
you wouldn't mind wrapping up your thoughts?
Yes,
We
and
have
I'm
other
sorry I
people
did go up a
Yeah,
little
that's okay.
further.
That's okay.
I want to leave with that thought that, yes, they are responding, but it seems like they're responding to essentially the same issues over and over again. A wider reckoning needs to be undertaken. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate you coming and expressing your concerns. Thank you. Mr. Aiken, would you want to come up after each person, or would you rather just wait till the end? We can let everybody speak and then I can just come up. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Pesach. I live in Driftwood, and I just have some questions. I'm not going to report on the outages. Can you hear me?
Yes, now.
I can speak
good.
louder.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, yes. We need that.
What do other industrialized non-third world countries do so this doesn't happen over and over and over again? This is not an isolated incident this year. Last year was every 2 or 3 months the electricity would go out. So that's what my question is to Entergy. We're paying more for Entergy now than ever before. We're paying premium prices for electricity, like any other industrialized nation. Are we getting the industrialized nation repairs? Are those insulators the only thing? Who cares what they are? Is it being repaired permanently?
Thank you, sir. Next. Name, and I'm sure it's District 3.
Joseph Achapinti, District 3,
Okay.
Madrid Avenue. I've been in Driftwood 41 years now, and we had a similar issue back in 2019-20 when Mayor Munez was here. And at that time, it was the pole at Granada, an underground line from Granada to Martinique, Martinique to a power box in my yard. My big question really for Energy is what is their maintenance program? And two, when we do have an outage, can you please communicate to the constituents what was the problem? We're totally in the dark. You'll see power outage and the reason says unknown. So they never tell us whether a pole was hit, whether it's a transformer, whether it's a line. It would be nice to communicate to us what is the problem, what's being done about it, and permanently fix it so we don't have it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Achapani. And thank you for coming in today, and thank you for sharing your concerns, especially with the councilman. And I know he's got a list of dates and times that you had outages.
I was looking for an answer to the questions.
Yeah, he's going to come up after. Yes, sir.
Ryan Nugent, 5444 Erlanger in District 3.
Thank you, Ryan.
First off, I'd like to say that it's kind of gone back and forth. We've been on Erlanger since 1989, and we actually had some issues back in the early 90s. They rectified those issues. Our transmission reliability was great up until about Katrina. Since then, we did have a few years of issues where we were kind of, I don't know, the same frequency that they've experienced in Driftwood, but we were getting recurring outages. Don't know exactly what feeder line we're on Erlanger, but it does seem that they've made some improvements. The outages that we are experiencing there are fewer and further between, and when there are outages, they're fairly short. So I assume some of those trip systems that you referred to are doing what they're supposed to do. That said, for the people who live in Driftwood and actually went out to try to shop at a business on Williams during one of these recent outages and was unable to do so. Two other things that I wanted to mention is the work that was done at the Pontchartrain substation was mentioned. And there was also a new metal transmission pole that was installed, crooked, by the way, at the intersection of Power and West Esplanade. Now, when they were doing that work, there's no doubt, I mean, there were men crawling up and down those lines. If you're telling me that this broken insulator was located at Power and West Esplanade, number one, how did they not notice that with the number of crews that were actually up there working on these things? And two, is it possible that it got broken during that construction? And then number three, about the substation itself, can we actually get some maintenance for the Pontchartrain substation? I remember what the substation used to look like back in the 90s, and today it is derelict. I will call time and time again to a call center that asked me to spell Pontchartrain and ask them to do, maintain the bushes, do something about the walls, do something about the weeds. The sign that's supposed to be on the gate is so old that it actually still says LPNL. And it's not on the gate anymore. It actually fell off the gate, got brought inside, then I called it about it a couple times because there's no 911 address on the property, which is a big issue in case of an emergency. And their solution eventually was to move it outside the gate and kind of stick it in the dirt. It's faded completely, you can't even read it. So I've been completely unsuccessful in getting them to do anything about, the appearance of that property for years. If y'all could give it some attention, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jerry Jacob. I'm in Driftwood on Coronado, not too far from Councilman Lahat. I'd like to thank Councilman Lahat for being so responsive to too many times that we have to make a complaint about this. I've only been in Driftwood for 7 years now, and I can say in those 7 years, I've experienced more power outages than in the rest of my life combined. It's unbelievable to me in an area that has underground power to the neighborhood experiences this kind of thing. That's supposed to be a modern technology to prevent this sort of thing. Obviously, the issues are not necessarily in the underground cabling, but where the power comes in. So it's great to hear that a lot of these things are going on, but one of the things that kind of bugs me, you did mention communication. They may be communicating with you. They don't communicate with us very well. Like was said before, we get undetermined, unknown cause when we look to the reason on the application, you know, about what the outage was, how long it's going to take. But one of the things that really gets me too is, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to have my team take a look at it. Why now? Why wasn't it done before? This has been an ongoing issue for a long time in Driftwood and in other parts of Kenner, and I think this should have been addressed long before now. And it's really frustrating given what we pay for electricity to have the kind of response we get from the only energy company that we have access to. And I just think that it's unacceptable in this day and age to be living through this in this area. But again, I'd like to thank Councilman Lahat for everything he's doing, and I sure hope something can be done about this. It's great to hear all the details, but in honesty, I just want it fixed. This shouldn't be happening once a year, maybe. I dread if we ever have another storm come through here, God forbid. But if so, I think we're going to really be in deep trouble. And I think it needs to be addressed now, not what we're going to do. Maybe I'll have my team take a look and see what about I can do about paying my bill.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Any other citizens would like to come forward and speak on this issue? Mr. Aiken, if you will.
All right. There's a lot of things there, so I'm going to try to go over them as I remember them. So let's start about the outages in Driftwood. So I got called here 2 years ago when I took this rollover, and I was asked to rectify the issues in Driftwood. Am I wrong or am I right, Councilman Lahat? Because I'm going to talk to you directly on this because this is where, you know, the rubber meets the road now.
That was correct, yes.
Okay.
You came 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, I came in here and I said, we will look at all the outages, we will talk to them, and we will formulate a game plan. I broke ground last year. I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas in Driftwood because we couldn't have Frosty the Snowman on Lake Trail because we broke ground on our Driftwood recabling to make sure that the exposed wire in Driftwood that all these constituents just talked about was not going to be exposed wire anymore. It was going to be in conduit. It was going to be brand new primary and secondary wiring that was going through Driftwood. So we've already completed phases 1 and 2 of that all the way down Lake Trail. We are currently in phase 3, and the Billy Day area is phase 4 of that plan. It is a 13-phase plan that we're doing to recable all of Driftwood. It is a $2 million recabling for just Coronado, which I heard. All in all, the project's about $15 million for us to complete. So that's something that we're doing. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. We've ripped up people's yards. We're going to be ripping up people's fences, backyards, etc. So I hope that Driftwood residents are ready because that's what we're doing. We are coming into Driftwood and we are actively recabling the Driftwood area. All of the, I heard something about the boxes, the green pad mounts that are coming. All those submersible transformers are outdated. They're old. They don't meet standards anymore. So guess what? Those are all phased out. Every single constituent that has a transformer in their yard is going to get a pad mount when we recable that area. So, and I'm sorry that they think that that's ridiculous, but that's the new standard. I did hear a gentleman say about the sidewalk. I do apologize for that. That should not be there. That is ridiculous on our part. I will take the credit for that right now and say that I have spoken with Kenner City Council members, and I do not know why that box is still sitting there, but there needs to be an alternative measure because we should not be blocking up the sidewalk. So to that gentleman and to the woman that had to push her baby into the street, I do apologize, and everybody else that had to go around that. I understand it is an eyesore, especially from neighbor's perspective. But I did hear somebody say it's ridiculous about the pad mount. That's our right-of-way. That's what we are able to put our facilities in the parish or the city's right-of-way. So therefore, we try not to put the green boxes on people's front lawns. Yes, there are a few instances where we had to do that, and that was a stopgap. Now that we're coming back and that we are recabling Driftwood, those are things that are trying to put on the property lines, whether it's in the backyard or the front yard. The front yard is a lot easier for us to access. The backyard is not. Therefore, there's going to be machines in people's yards. We are going to be running up these people's yards, and I did speak to you about that when we talked about the whole recabling of Driftwood. So, if people put sheds over our submersibles, or if they put pools in there and we have to get to it, we have the right to access our facilities. We have the right to put pad mounts because that is the new technology. So I do hear from y'all that y'all do want better, improved reliability. That's something that we're doing in Driftwood. Like I spoke about before, everybody came up here. Feeder 313 has not been an issue for us. It has not been a problem feeder. We are looking at metrics. It never met the metrics or the standards for us as a problem feeder. I understand that the equipment, people are saying it's old, it's outdated. Well, we have a resiliency plan that just got passed by the LPSC for $1.9 billion across the state. We are investing back into our infrastructure. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I am a resident of Jefferson Parish, and I feel that our infrastructure is outdated. We are actively working right now to invest and upgrade into our infrastructure. I heard something about rates and prices. Entergy does not drive the rates or the prices. You elect a public service commissioner to drive the rates and the prices. You have the third lowest rates in the nation when it comes to power. Do you consume more power because you live in South Louisiana? Absolutely. But you have some of the lowest rates in the country for power. So I understand that reliability has been an issue. And I'm here today saying that it is unacceptable that these constituents, our customers, are experiencing so many outages. But for somebody to sit here and say, I'm going to get my team together, I'm doing everything I can. Entergy, my team, everybody across the entire Entergy system is doing what they can to make upgrades. I've sat here for 2 years now, and I've promised y'all that you are going to see better reliability. My system's working. The things that we're doing and we're putting in place are working. I can show you that just from the numbers on 316, 324, and 333. Those customers have not experienced power outages. We are going to do a comprehensive walk down next week of the entire feeder. We're going to make sure that all the equipment is in place, that you aren't going to have an issue with your insulators, with your conductors. I can't guarantee power, okay? But what I can do is I can get my teams to go out there and make sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure reliability. And finally, I heard something about vegetation as well. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten from the city of Kenner about vegetation because their constituents don't like the aesthetics of how we're cutting the trees. It is not our job as a power provider to cut for aesthetics. It is our job to ensure that you have reliable power. And so when a branch falls into a power line and causes a fault or a disruption and you don't have power for 2 hours, then yes, that is on us. And that is because we didn't do the proper trimming or maintaining, but we've also had crews get run out of the city of Kenner and out of Jefferson Parish for trying to cut trees, or I'm getting told that we're not cutting for aesthetics. It's our job to keep the lights on. And then finally, I will hit you with, I believe somebody said about the third world country or whatnot. I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir. I really do. You have my word. I've been here for 2 years now. I've been beating the drum internally with Entergy to tell you that we are upgrading reliability, that we are doing everything we possibly can. I take pride in working for Entergy. I know my coworkers, the people that I work with, take pride in working for them too. And this is something that we're going to continue to do until we get it right. You have my word on that.
Thank you, Mr. Aiken. If you will, just a little bit more.
Mr. Reagan, thank you for the response, and I understand that the issue is going to take time. I know Driftwood's an old subdivision, and y'all are rewiring, and I really appreciate it. I know the residents know that. There's emotional issues come up when the same residents lose power over and over again, and that's why these people are here today. That's why I'm a little bit upset too. So I appreciate y'all being here. I know your attention is on it. I think this issue today it relates to the insulator and the conductor lines and not the underground transformer. So I think some of the residents just want to be told that you are being proactive to look at these lines, maybe be told exactly what happened, because I do relay the information you give to me to them, and they appreciate that, but y'all's phone system sometimes doesn't alert.
And I meant to talk on that as well. So we are actively working on that now to have better communication. I do want to encourage everybody here, anybody watching. I try to tell everybody that is an energy customer to ensure that your profile is up to date. Make sure that you have your correct phone number. Make sure you have how you would like to be contacted, whether it's phone call, email, text message. We are working internally right now with our outage map to ensure that we're providing quality ERTs or restoration times. Obviously, I understand tempers are high, especially when you don't have power. Nobody wants to go without power. Nobody should ever have to go without power. Nobody knows that better than us here at Energy, and that's something that we're doing right now, is trying to upgrade our facilities, upgrade our systems to better communicate with our customers, to let them know exactly what the cause of the outage was, how long it's going to take for us to restore power. And then obviously I'm communicating with y'all as well, so you can put it out on your social media channels, et cetera, to notify your customers. So, you know, I do apologize about the outages. Obviously, 5 outages in 14 days is a lot. 15 outages over the last year, definitely a lot as well. Obviously, there's more contributing factors than just equipment failure or whatnot that was there, but I do understand, I can attest that the 5 outages over the last 14 days have been due to faulty equipment. We are taking this very seriously, and I'll continue to communicate step by step on what we're doing to resolve these issues as we move forward.
Thank you. And I relay that to the constituents. Thank you all for coming today, and thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Mr. Aiken, if you can, just a little bit more.
Yep.
Now, first off, I appreciate all the constituents coming from Driftwood area and everything. This is a very serious issue, and as you can see, Entergy is taking it seriously. And thank you, Mr. Aiken, and your superior for coming today and presenting and giving us the answers that we need. But also, I wanted to ask too, because I got some phone calls regarding another area.
Okay.
And I just wanted to, and I promised I was going to ask since you were going to be here. Several outages in a short period of time on the northwest side of the Westgate area, behind the Tigerland Mall area. It's like the 2100 block of 27th Street.
Okay.
What was the issue there?
I can't tell you that off the top of my head. There hasn't been any kind of substation issues there. It could be an isolated incident if there's streets there where it could be something to do with the transformer, bad cabling on that lateral. If you want to talk more, if you want to send me that information, I can have our reliability team dig into that more. We can look at it and kind of see, you know, it could be something with a circuit, and we can kind of get to the cause of what's going on and how we can rectify that issue.
Okay, so it's a separate, you haven't heard of that one?
I have
as of
not,
yet?
no. That's the first that I'm hearing of this one in that area, so.
Okay, yeah, because I had actually called you probably a week or so ago and kind of keyed down on that a little bit, but maybe you were thinking of the
Gotcha.
Driftwood area.
Okay.
Because I know that that's a hot potato because it needs to be addressed.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, yes, Councilman Swarth.
President, Jimmy, I text you on that same issue for the Westgate area.
Well,
No,
everything
I got
runs
you.
together for me, so I
No.
completely understand.
It's been 4 times in the last 10 days. We found the issue, and we made the necessary repairs to the breaker this morning. That's what it was, for the Westgate issue that they had, that they were talking about, so.
Just jog my memory on where Westgate's at. I apologize for this, so,
Let's say,
because this
by
could
the
have,
Islamic school, by the Islamic school.
oh, then this was fed off this breaker then, so I apologize. It was the same thing on 313, it crossed over onto, I apologize. I'm thinking on this side of West Esplanade, it's on the other side, so it's the same area.
So that's the same cause?
You got it. It was the same cause and effect. I do apologize.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
And that's what you
I'm
had
thinking,
said.
You said Westgate. I'm thinking Woodlake. I apologize. I was about to say that's fed off of a different substation. So that's my bad. That's my
Okay,
mistake.
so it's been corrected to the best of your knowledge?
That was the area that was impacted by feeder 313.
Okay.
So this is all what we're talking about now. I do apologize. For some reason, I thought you said Woodlake, not Westgate.
Okay, very good. Anybody else have questions?
Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it.
Councilman Brannigan.
Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
I think that the communication to the residents is where there's a major problem with energy. The great thing is that when we had a car knock out a pole on Joe Yenny in front of Place Pontchartrain about a month ago, and when I texted you, you replied back, and then you were able to give me information on what happened.
Right.
And that helps me be able to get that to my people, because a lot of people look at my social media page. And when I was posting on that, telling them, we had a car take out a pole, this feed is out, prepare for a 12-hour delay, some people started coming back in earlier, but I had like 28,000 views on that post, giving people information. It's very important for you to continue doing that with all of the council people, because we are using social media,
Right.
I'm assuming, to get the message out. I know the administration also uses social media to get the message out too. But it's very helpful for us to be able to get it out to our people, and they know what's going on. So that's, when you go to the website and it doesn't give you the exact time, or, it doesn't tell you why it's happened. I've had people, well, I want to know why this happened, and sometimes you can't tell them that because you don't know. But when you find out, when we can relay that information to the people, then it also, calms things down a little bit and helps us out.
Right, and no, all
And I
this is
appreciate
great,
you doing it
and
the
I
way you
appreciate
do
that,
it.
and I'm going to continue to communicate with you. All of this is great constructive criticism. This is something that we're taking back to our teams. We understand that, it's a hot topic. We understand that tempers are boiling over. I get it. I completely understand. Anna gets it too. We're taking this back to our team. We're letting them know this is an issue. This isn't we're going to put some duct tape on it, slap something there, and we're good. This is a real concern. This is a real issue for our customers, and this is a real issue for the Kenner residents, and this is something I just want your constituents to know. This is not something I'm taking lightly. This is not something where this is smoke and mirrors. I'm up here now just putting on a presentation, and then it's done. We've had numerous calls, conversations, that you will see Entergy personnel out there. I can tell you that the gentleman that talked about the transmission structure, this has nothing to do with that. So that's an isolated one-off incident that I'll certainly look into with our transmission team. But other than that, this is being taken very seriously. And so I do apologize that we have to come back every few months and just reassure and reiterate just the commitments that we're making to the city of Kenner and to our customers all across the state. But as you can see right now, with progress, it's going to take time. We're 1 year in, 18 months into our resiliency phase. We're going back to the Public Service Commission to ask for another 5 years because we see the good work that we're doing. It is time for an upgrade. It is time for our equipment to be upgraded. So therefore, I just wanted to tell everybody, thank you for having me tonight. This is being addressed. This is being taken seriously. And just if you want to put that out to your constituents that, we have an open line of communication. I think I might speak to Ronnie every day, who knows, so, but I do speak to you on a day-to-day basis, and there are open lines, and this isn't just going to the wayside and us not doing anything. This is being heard, and you had my promise since I took this position 2 years ago. I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to ensure better quality, better reputation for energy, and I'm gonna stand by that because I'm only as good as my word.
Right, and the city of Kenner is aging, and these neighborhoods are aging.
Right.
And when you have a neighborhood that's 50, 60 years old, and you have the old technology in there, what you're doing in Driftwood is amazing. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. That's the sad part.
Right. I wish it could. I wish it could.
Yeah, totally impossible. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your hard work too. We know that you all are out there doing what you can do, but at the same time, when we have citizens, we have to have their issues, we have to address them.
And
So
I'm
thank
glad that they're here tonight. I'm glad they addressed it. Obviously now it's time for us to put up, and that's something that we're going to do. So
We appreciate you,
Yep.
Jimmy. And
Thank y'all for having me.
Anna, I don't know if you want to make any comments, so you're more than welcome to, but
And I won't take too much time. Just in addition to everything that Jimmy was talking about, A couple of points, just first of all, we have served this great state for 100 years. So Entergy is not a new name, right? We've been doing this for a very long time, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to continue to serve the city of Kenner. And we're looking forward to another 100 years. So we continue to make investments. We continue to, make sure that our maintenance is up to date. We continue to make sure that our reliability is up to par. And this is definitely not, right, the performance that we want to provide or the service that we want to provide to our customers. So I just want to reassure you, we weren't waiting for this meeting to really put eyes on what's happening in Driftwood or in this part of Kenner, or for that matter, in any part of the state that we serve. We see the outages as well, right? And we're not only employees of the company. I'm a resident of Kenner. I'm a resident of Jefferson Parish, long-term resident. But I'm also an employee. And I understand, and we understand, every employee at this company understands what we provide, the service that we provide. So we know that any time that there's a disruption, it's frustrating. Believe me, I know. So we appreciate all of you coming in. I did take some good notes. I appreciate the comments about the substation, Pontchartrain substation. I'm definitely going to bring that back. And also wanted to say about the communication to our customers. We really stress the importance of trying to make sure that we provide you an accurate restoration time. That's what we focus. And I have to say, I think somebody mentioned, well, we never know what's going on or what was the cause of the outage. We're so focused on trying to make sure to get the power back on. Maybe that's probably a step that we could go, a bit better in communicating with our customers. What caused the outage? Again, our point is, let's identify the issue. Let's restore power as quickly as possible. Let's give a good restoration time to our customers so you can plan accordingly, and let's address the problem. But, again, our communications can it improve? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just wanted to say we appreciate all the feedback. We appreciate you being here. Believe me, we didn't wait for this meeting. We had all eyes on this with every outage that we saw, and we wanted to make sure that our service to you is going to be up to our standards as well, and that reliability and service continues to serve this great city. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. The mayor's comments will follow.
Mayor?
All right. I've already been told to speak up. All right, a couple things. I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Henry Shane and his family, because if anyone has traveled Power Boulevard between West Esplanade and Vintage, you'll see that he's added or donated to us over $100,000 in new ground cover around each of the artwork he's donated. And he's promised to maintain it, and he's actually looking at the lighting to try to put it all, I guess, uniform in and around the artwork. Also, on that same note, I'd like to thank the Palm Vista Garden Club, because they've been instrumental in our redesign and moving of the vintage garden that had to be moved for the addition of the bridge. So it's, I think, the concrete's poured, and it should be finished sooner than later. The Fillmore tracks here, the railroad tracks, as you know, we've made an effort to get all of them redone, and I'm proud to say that the Fillmore tracks were done last week and completed, and they're much better than they were, trust me. In District 2, this is going to be I guess a heartache for the residents, but the Roosevelt reconstruction has begun, and it's going to be every bit of 18 months of inconvenience for the residents that live in and around that area, but once it's done, it'll be much better than it is now. That is absolutely the absolute worst street in the city of Kenner. If you couldn't get to it and didn't need to get to it, we should have blocked it off probably months ago, and we put in approximately $150,000 just in asphalt to try to keep it passable, but it's finally working. The wastewater clarifiers, I think it was the over $4 million that you approved a while back. The M.R. Pittman Company completed their substantial completion and inspection, and they don't have much left to do, so 35 to 40 days, we think those clarifiers will be online, which will greatly enhance our capability of treating sewage. Also, at the Council on Aging, we have a health fair next Wednesday, September 10th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at our Council on Aging. Everything's on our website if you need it. And was it last night, was today? Tuesday night. No, what, last night. The days are running. We had our first of our 2 scheduled meetings of the recycling and drop-off site information that we're trying to get out to people and to get input. As you know, as you may know, the contract was for 10 years and it's coming up February of next year. So we have to act quick to make a determination of what we're going to do. I decided to run through this. It's only 8 slides. The longest thing is a 4-minute, 37-second video of our recycling. So what this does, we have another one scheduled Monday at 6:30 at our Council on Aging. If you want any information and provide us input that has to make the decisions, all but one council person attended, and we'll have pretty much all of them next time, I believe. But what it does is give the history and a drop site, what's the present cost and our projected costs, what's the future options, gather resident feedback, in the timeline, which is we make a decision and we bring it to the council, y'all vote on it, and we award whatever company is awarded the service contract to provide either recycling, oh, you'll see, so, or the drop site, both or none. So those, yep. So this is only 4.5 minutes.
Recycling provides a wide range of benefits for our environment, such as reducing the amount of waste sent to landfills and incinerators, conserving natural resources such as timber, water, and minerals, and preventing pollution and reducing
All right, and just quickly, the couple of slides that are left, we'll go into more detail at Monday's meeting. The contract started February 4th of 16, expires February 4th of this year. Currently, it's a flat rate of $2.30 a month to each household that pays for garbage. Recycling, curbside pickup, one time a week. The drop site is Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 3 for household garbage and trash and bushes and small residential, like sheetrock and things like that. Currently, we know that the participation rate of recycling is 36% of households, because we have 8,035 bins issued, and we have just over 22,000 paying customers for garbage. Current drop site participation is about 400 vehicles a month. What we know, it could be anticipated, probably not a lot, but garbage disposal costs could increase if we stop the drop site. Recycling, most of it's light, so it's really not going to be that much of an impact. But no provider that we've reached out to will provide, like we have now, one lump sum, because we pay $2.30 for two services. So all you pay is $2.30 for both services. Nobody wants to do both of them for one. We kind of started asking around. We think we're going to get the current recycling we have now for $3 a month per household, and we can run the drop site for 53 cents a month per household using our in-house employees. And when the cans fill up, the big roll-off cans, they will call our current service provider, and they'll haul it off to the dump. So these are four options that we have. There's a couple of more we can talk about once we get more information from the residents. Is continue curbside recycling only. As you know, it'd be about $3 a household. Continue drop site only, which is 53 cents. Continue both, you see it'll be $3.53, which currently we pay $2.30 a household, so it'll be an increase of $1.03 or 23 cents. Or just continue both services and let the residents either contract with a recycling company on their own or bring their garbage to the David Drive dump for $14 a car or $20 a trailer. And the next steps is we have in these meetings to gather input. We'll present it to the council with your input. Most of y'all heard some of the comments last night. Make a decision, an announcement, and then the timeline, and it's going to have to come here, and I'm sure we'll have discussion when we get here. So this is, if you need more information and feedback, this video you just saw has been on our website now for probably around 2 years now. And we know that pushing this information out, I got a couple comments last night that it wasn't really distributed a lot, but we know that just by Facebook clicks that we have, just on Facebook alone, over 6,000 clicks on people seeing what we have. So Monday is your next chance to get us in person. Once we gather information, I think, in my head, I think it may be a little different than last night. But we'll see. We'll put it all together and come back and discuss it all. And if we need a couple more meetings with the public, we'll schedule them and have them. But that's the decision. It's like I made the fatal flaw of saying I really don't recycle. And I made a really bad flaw saying that I married the only Italian woman that doesn't cook. So, so we don't have a lot of garbage or trash because we're never home. So with that, that's it, buddy. Now, we'll have something to say with 15A when y'all get around to it.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Next, we have resolutions, motions, and other items from the floor. At this time, I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan, to amend the agenda to add item 13C, a resolution authorizing a settlement in the claim entitled in regards to Amparo Lambert Morales versus the City of Kenner, Kenner Police Department et al., 24th Judicial District Court number 753-525, Division D. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to object to the agenda being amended? Please come forward. Seeing none, all council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the consent agenda, I have item 1, approval of the minutes, the regular council meeting of August 22nd, 2025. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 25-004, Divine Mercy Catholic Parish Seafood Festival to hold a public gathering on October 10, 2025 through October 12, 2025 at 4337 Salentini Parkway for the purpose of a seafood festival. Item 3B is application number 25-008, Archdiocese of New Orleans to hold a public gathering every Saturday from September 6, 2025 through October 25, 2025 from 7 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. at Lake Town for the purpose of a cross-country meet for elementary students. That will conclude the consent agenda. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings and final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 13,914, an ordinance amending ordinance 11,548 to correct the reservations of certain sections of Chapter 8, Article 2 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances and to restore the fee for fire inspections as Section 8-19 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan.
Is anybody here from the fire department? If you will, explanation.
While we were reviewing some documentation, we found out that the ordinance for the fire inspections fee was incidentally omitted from a previous amendment, and so we worked with legal, and they're just adding it back to the ordinances. So it's nothing new. It just got omitted off. It was an error, and legal's taking care of it to get it back on the books.
Anybody have any questions? No, thank you.
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 13,933, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 2, Section 15-18, subsection G13 of the Kenner City Code of Ordinances. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney.
If we can have an explanation on this one too? Anybody?
I'll take it since it's sitting right in front of me. It's a no left turn at Medoc facing north at the intersection with Vintage Drive. So the school, the no left turn sign hours are wrong. It said, what they're adding is effective during school hours, 6:45 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. and 2:20 p.m. to 3 p.m. So just correcting the hours.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have questions? Councilman Brannigan?
This came about because they had like a 3.5-hour window on those school zone times, and I was getting a lot of complaints about people saying they had to, when you got to Medoc and Vintage heading south, you had to turn, go all the way down, and turn around and come back. So I met with the principal at the school to determine what the times were needed for the school zone, and I went out and changed them, and I did not realize that we had to put it in the record, which is my mistake. Just went and bought the decals and redid them, and everything worked well for a year until one person got a ticket, and the office didn't realize that the times had changed. So that's why this legislation's on. It's working a lot better for the people that live in that area, that they don't have a 3.5-hour window when they only needed 45 minutes.
Sounds like a good fix. Thank you, Councilman.
How mad was your wife that she got the ticket?
Anybody else? No?
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution calling a public hearing on September 19, 2025, to determine whether the structures located at 1815 Short Street in Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution calling a public hearing on September 19, 2025, to determine whether the structures located at 1918 Kansas Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution authorizing a settlement in the claim entitled in regards to Amparo Lambert Morales versus the City of Kenner, Kenner Police Department et al. 24 Judicial District Court Number 753-525, Division D. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,919, an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with American Cruise Lines Incorporated for the construction and operation of a docking facility in historic Rivertown. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. I believe the mayor had some comments.
Mayor, Ms. Vallow?
If
Somebody?
you let them, it looks,
You
I
want-
can probably answer questions at the end.
Okay.
After.
Okay, if you will, Mr. Taft?
Greg Taft, 5th District. I just got a couple questions that in reading it, I came upon is that the observation deck, from what I read, is not necessarily available 24 hours for the constituents, for the citizens of Kenner. So my question is, are we closing it for safety reasons at night, or is it because of other reasons to not interfere with what their Americans doing? Because the citizens should have access to that. And I just want to make sure that they're not being deprived of something that is owned by the city. The other thing I
Absolutely not.
had
It
was-
does, it says just the opposite in the CEA, the absolute opposite.
What's that?
It says the absolute opposite of what you,
Oh, it does?
yes, the absolute opposite.
Because it says that it was going to be closed at times, is what I read.
It's not going to be closed at times.
'Cause I
They
got it.
offered to repair it at no cost to the city. I can go in, look, it'll be off topic. I can go in the whole history of LaSalle's Landing, the Trailhead expansion grant that the city was awarded in 2016 that went dormant in 2021 because they failed to act on and sign the proper agreements. Our $338,000 improvement is now almost a $900,000 improvement. And Mr. Gonzalez, with his relationships with the Regional Planning Commission and DOTD, got them to accept increasing the grant award, where now we're going to get $900,000 to redo our observation deck. This has nothing to do with the observation deck. It has been closed now for upwards of 10 years when no one can use it because
Right.
it fell apart.
But it does say that it's going to be repaired. and-
Yes, it will be repaired.
And so, and that brought up the question, was that once it gets repaired, the citizens are going to have.
It has absolutely nothing to do with this project. It's two separate projects.
And then the other questions I had was, we've got it for 20 years. Was there a reason that we needed 20 years instead of maybe going 10 so that we could see
Yes.
how it works out?
Yes, because the CEO and president of the company was in Kenner in December and met me at the Old Man River Marathon that we took from Gretna, is now in Rivertown annually. And his first proposal was they want to construct it for a 40-year agreement. And that was, we weren't going 40 years on an agreement without, we could do 20 years with two 10-year extensions because, look, they wanted to get the most for their dollars. They're going to spend right around $3 million on building this gangway and modern floating dock for a river vessel at no cost to us. And they want to recoup their investment. So they wanted, of course they wanted 40 years, but we were able to come to an agreement that it's 20 years with 2 10-year agreements.
Okay, so they wanted more, and you managed to bring them back
Correct.
down to 20, and, I mean, I just, these things just pop up, because you want to know, because, you know, we're tying up that land for them. And then the other thing I got was on the demo of the existing pier,
Yes.
was there a reason why we couldn't get them to pay 100% instead of us splitting it 50%?
We could have, not really, so just to go back a little bit, in hold on for a second. In the beginning of 2023, the city was contacted by the United States Army Corps of Engineers and the Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East about removing the remaining dilapidated structure that's pretty much on the river at LaSalle's Landing. Due to the excessive cost to remove the entire remaining structure, we made the approximately $100,000. We made the decision to remove only the structure that was on land and contracted with Ramjay Construction, who removed the structure at a cost of $7,280. So that was 2 years ago. We figure it was roughly $100,000 a few years ago. It's probably more now. We would have to learn how to get the permitting process of removing something out of the Mississippi River where we really have no knowledge of it. What we're doing now is we'd have to contract with someone to come with the permit, and what we need to do to get that stuff out, they experts in it. They have construction companies that do it from up and down the Mississippi River, and it was probably cost effective for us just to pay for half of it instead of paying another company and not knowing what it's going to be.
So in other words, we didn't have anything in our pockets. This is something that we just have to finish up.
That's correct.
Is that what that is?
That is absolutely correct. And look, this is probably going to result in a phone call to my office next week from one of these two entities, like when you're moving it. Because they want it moved because it's falling apart. They don't want anything, half of it floating down the Mississippi River causing damage downstream.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Taft. Your time's,
I realize, but
you.
I have one more question.
All right,
if I may.
let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, how did we come with the amount of $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month? What was is that the appraisal? Was appraisal used? What was used to develop that amount of rent? And that's all I had.
Yeah, well, it's not sure if it's the actual appraisal of the land, but it's the appraisal of, it's just vacant land. That someone's going to, it's a ground lease that they're going to build a structure on and use it. No difference than anyone else that rents from the city of Kenner. Like, we have an eye doctor renting from us for 20 years. We have the Flying Dollies renting for us, monthly. And look, and at the end of the day, they got 20 years. I think it's 60 days in 20 years. I won't be here, and I'm sure hopefully none of y'all are still sitting in any of them chairs. They can walk away, we can walk away, and we now own which is going to be currently a modern docking facility on the Mississippi River. But look, people want to know why we don't build it ourselves, because we just don't have $3 million laying around. And I don't think anyone in the city wants to deal with running a modern docking facility on the Mississippi River, because I wouldn't want to deal with the cost of insurances that you have to carry to maintain something on the Mississippi River. So.
Thank you for your questions, Mr. Taft. And I just have a couple. As far as the actual term, we're talking 20 years and then 2 10s behind it. The 20 years, after the 20 years, if there's a problem Kenner has with it, can we terminate it at that point, at the 20-year junction?
You want to go in? yes, there's several ways what you do if you terminate it after 10 years, if you fail. I mean, it's a traditional CEA with the government agency with the outs. If you don't pay rent, if we don't do what we say we're doing, each side can terminate the agreement.
So in a sense that they're investing $3 million on a pier for 20 years, and then at the end of that 20-year period, we have an option at that point. So it's a huge investment for that company to be coming here, and we haven't had any other offers of this type, I wouldn't think, that I can recall ever.
We haven't, but they have offers to please build a pier in my city, up and down the river. So I know Frank Lips was here from ACL, I think last meeting, and he'll be in town next month visiting just right up the river some Chamber of Commerce people that are trying to get another stop up and down, a little further north on the river.
So when they do come stop here, they're going to let their passengers off, and they're going to frequent the businesses and restaurants and so forth that we have in South Kenner.
Yes, they're free to do whatever they want. So once if this agreement is done, we've been in contact with the office in American Cruise Line that plans the offshore excursions. This isn't a stop. They'll build cruises around a Kenner stop. It'll only be once a week to begin with because they don't know they can't gauge what's happening at the end of next year, the beginning of 27. If there's more interest in these cruises, which we know there will be, or they think they will be, because they're building another 10 boats now because all their stuff are sold out. And my little thing here is the American Cruise Line presence in Rivertown will be actually a win for the city. It's costing us little to nothing for them to come, other than splitting a cost of something that we have 100% responsibility of tearing down sooner than later, and it's probably real soon. Once they hear us talking about it still, sitting out there, that it, could float down the river at any time, especially if there's a storm or some bad the rises in the river, high winds, or things like that. So.
And these passengers, I guess, that are going to be frequenting American Cruise Lines, they're more of an older crowd, and they're going to be coming in and spending pretty good money, from what I understand. So we should have an economic boom, if you will, in South Kenner.
It's by adding the stop in Rivertown, the area will experience high spending demographic. I didn't call them old, you did. An increase in on-the-ground visitors, and the opportunity for us to highlight local history and traditions. Look, you got a Rivertown Theater. If they're going to stop here it's usually a 6 to 8 hour stop if it's not a turnaround city where people get on and off. They've already been in contact with Rivertown Repertory Theater to maybe add a show that's playing there during the day during one of their stops. That if people are interested, they can go sit there. We have a lot of interest in Rivertown. We just don't have the room for a lot of people. I can tell you for a fact we have 1, 2, 3 more businesses that are coming. It's just a matter of they got to go through the permitting process and things like that. It's not going to generate a lot more traffic, we don't think, just the nature of the businesses. So.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions? Councilman Brannigan.
Well, I feel that this is a no-brainer for the city, and I think we need to make sure that the cruise line promotes the Treasure Chest Casino on the north end of town, and get some of these people that are getting off this boat and send them down there so that our revenues can go up there based on, how well the Treasure Chest is doing on land now. But this is a no-brainer in my eyes, that it's going to help not only the businesses in this area in Rivertown, the whole city is going to benefit from this. So thanks for having a vision.
Look, I can tell you, if they're not coming here, they're going to go right down the next highway right down the street, because they've already had a conversation and said, why don't you come to us?
Right.
So I think we nabbed them first. But look, I understand y'all all received an email. There's Facebook posts from I know Councilman Wilmot doesn't like naming names, but who's it from? So I'm going to refrain from it.
Thank you.
And I'll just say it was sent by an individual with a history of unethical behavior, including disinformation of facts. Nowhere, anywhere did anyone say we given ACL $1 million to build anything. We given them absolutely nothing other than to pay them back for our half of demolishing what we have 100% responsibility to demolish. And they will make all the improvements. We'll have about a $900,000 new trailhead expansion here, which is going to include bathrooms, new bus stops. The park benches are up there, a brand-new redone observation deck that the people can go watch the sunset, watch the boats pass, and all that stuff. You're not going to have a fishing pier in the Mississippi River. Absolutely not going to happen anywhere around here. You just can't pay for the insurance to have a pedestrian pier on the Mississippi River that moves as fast as it moves, the amount of tonnage and the boats that go by. It's not feasible. So you can go fish, stand on the shoreline and do it. It's just the cities can't afford to have a fishing pier on the Mississippi River. And I think all of y'all can understand that, just the actual nightmare that would be to navigate the insurance process. I know you got insurance people here, a couple of attorneys that either defend or sue municipalities for things that doesn't make sense. And I think this is one that's the best for the city of Kenner, the residents of Kenner, because they get a brand new docking facility with more visitors coming, walking around Rivertown. Granted, will they all 200 of them walk Rivertown? I would say probably not. You know, if you're from northern Michigan and you have never seen an alligator before, you're going looking for an alligator when you step off the boat somewhere around South Louisiana. Whether it's in Kenner, whether it's in Vacherie, that we've went to see the Vacherie dock right after they contacted us. So I really think this is a win for the city of Kenner, and for the amount of investment, I think it's better than a win. I think it's a home run and a jackpot.
And the other thing is that it's not a cruise ship that has 5,000, 10,000 people on it. You know, it's a smaller type deal. So I think that the impact to the community with traffic and everything will be minimal. Because, I mean, right now we're looking at what, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, a docking or something?
Yeah, they said probably once a week to start so they can gauge what happens up and down the river. And like I said, the only time you would have any traffic is if there was the buses that have to bring somebody, if they want to go down the road somewhere. They would have to pull in a parking lot to load and unload.
That should be minimal.
Anyone else? No? Ma'am, if you will, name and district.
Yes. Vanessa Matthews, District 1. First of all, I would like to ask you to please accept my apology from the last meeting we had on 8/22, because I was a little abrasive, and I apologize for that. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. But I'm glad to have the opportunity to finish what I wanted to say last week. And that is just to let you all know how shocking it was for me to just having heard about the new venture that's coming, because the first thing I thought about is more noise, more traffic, and I'll tell you why. It's because my home is a block and a half from DMV, and on a regular basis, it's hard to get in and out of my street sometimes to get to Williams or get from Williams Boulevard, because people stop in the middle of the street to let people out or pick people up from the DMV. And also because of the Brown Patty and the crossing and the festivals, there's music on the weekends. And it has gotten a little bit better, the music, the loudness of the music. But the point is that that's what it represented to me when I first heard it. And it was just a shock and disheartening because of having just heard about it when it's being discussed for a whole year. I do care about Kenner. I volunteer. I was volunteering for the police department when the mayor was chief of police and the president of one of the groups, picking up trash. I still do it with the Kenner Civic Association. And I do recycle. And so I participate in a lot of things. Jury commissioner for over 4 years. I care about the city because it's where I live. But I just wanted to, I just feel that we should have had a town hall or something and given the opportunity to talk about, to ask questions or to get answers, or to talk about the pros that some of which I just heard, and to talk about the cons, or either how you plan to mitigate the cons if there are any, and to talk about job opportunities for the residents of Kenner. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. And I thank you for hearing me. Thank you for the space.
Thank you for coming in. Anyone else? Ma'am, name and district?
Berenice Perkins, Kenner resident, lifetime resident. I'm concerned about the river traffic, Rivertown traffic, and as a result of the cruise line, I think it will affect the levee. We've had floods, we've had serious storms since Katrina, but the levee is weak, I think. And I think with the cruise line coming and going, I think it may affect the levee, hopefully not in a bad way. And also the traffic, I think, as she said earlier, that it will boost employment and it will boost the area as far as business, but I think it will be a problem with traffic and people parking in this area. Hopefully, it would not be a bad thing. I think it will boost the economy in Kenner, in Rivertown area. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am? Go ahead.
Councilman Swarth?
Thank you, sir. I just want to ask you something. You worried about the boat being too close to the levee?
What is it?
Why are you worried about the levee
The
itself?
levee, per se, I think it has is somewhat weak, I was told.
Okay. Do you know how far away that boat is going to be from the levee?
No.
Over 100 yards.
Over what?
Over 100 yards away from the levee. There's not wheel wash, nothing that boat's going to do that's going to be detrimental to the levee. And hopefully, we have our Corps of Engineers and we have our levee board rotting, researching, and protecting us. And trust me, the water's going to hit District 1, it's going to hit District 2, right down by you, okay? So let's hope that our Corps, our levee board, keeps those levees intact.
Intact.
But as far as that boat docking, that's not going to affect the levee at all. In fact,
Okay.
anything, shoring it up with the concrete and all that they're putting in here and revamping everything, that's going to help the levee if not anything at all. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Council?
Yeah.
May I, please?
Yes, go ahead.
First off, the first lady that came up, appreciate her comments and coming up and saying what she did. To Councilman Schwartz's point, in District 5, we have access on 2 streets going up to the levee along the St. Charles Parish line. And for the longest kind of time, it's maybe 20 feet long, 12 feet wide, and it was gravel, it was rocks. And the idea was presented of blacktopping that so that people on bikes didn't have to drive through the rocks or ride through the rocks to get up there. It seemed like a great idea. It seemed like an easy thing to get done, but it probably took a year between the Corps of Engineers and the levee board and the team of people that they had to send out there to look at it, to review everything. And it was just amazing to me because everybody complains about how slow government is, and it just seemed to me that this was an easy request to approve, but again, it took such a long, long time. And where I'm going with that is the Corps of Engineers, the levee board, they are very serious, obviously, about their jobs and what they do. And I understand the concern with people, and especially being this close to the river. But I truly believe that it's going to be looked at, and it's not gonna be an issue because they're gonna do their homework and continue to do so. So, I just wanted to add that comment, and, I think it's really gonna be a good thing. I think it's gonna be a nice plus. You're looking at 180 people. The gentleman that spoke said a lot of people don't even get off the boat, they stay on the boat. So, as Councilman Brannigan said, it's not a massive vessel with just a ton of people. So hopefully we see some good out of this, and I truly believe we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brennan. Yes, sir. Name and district.
How you doing? I'm Mr. LeBeau, District 1 here. I'm congratulating y'all on that. I really appreciate the cruise line being over here. I was wondering, okay, so when you look right across the street, I don't know who did it, when it happened, but there's a plaque that used to be there in my family, you know what I'm saying, LaSalle Landing. It said in 1682, Robert D. LaSalle Landing in the Indian village, later to be known as the city of Kenner. And it's been gone it's been years. And I was wondering when they redo everything, is that going, like, cause y'all already, there's nothing there. You can see where it's missing there, and the friendship arc where, well, you know, back in the day it was black and white, where black and white shook hands. That's not there no more either. So I'm just trying to wonder, is that gonna come back, or are they just getting rid of all that?
Ms. Fowler?
When they redo it.
We'll be doing a lot of work with the Kenner Trailhead expansion. General Services has done an amazing job of trying to collect our artifacts that we have. I will go ahead and make certain to check to see, but we preserved most of it. There was, in fact, a time capsule that was buried there as well. That was recovered several years ago. But yes, we will certainly look for the plaque that was out there. It's been years, huh?
Yeah.
So it might take some time to track down, or we may have to recreate if necessary.
There's no problem. I mean, if you need, I remember it, but you know what I'm saying, it's tradition, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all. All right.
Thank you for speaking. And Councilwoman Dunn.
Yeah, I just have one thing to say. If some of the residents, and I guess I'm talking to Ms. Perkins more or less, would remember when the Zulu would come up the river and they would actually get off on LaSalle Landing, you know. So a lot of people have asked if that will be coming back because they used to do it. But whatever happened, you know, because of the pier and all of that, then they stopped doing it. So I must say, yes, it will be protected. And to Ms. Matthews, we do accept your apology.
Anybody else? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,923. An ordinance approving an agreement for lead-based hazard inspections and related services with Materials Management Group Incorporated and an amount not to exceed $99,000 annually for the Department of Community Development. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood.
If we can get an explanation on this one, just for the record. Ms. Shaw, thank you.
Good evening, Tamithia Shaw, Federal Program Compliance. I'm here for Ms. Jones with Community Development. This is in reference to the $2 million grant that we received from Jefferson Parish for lead-based, or lead-safe grant program for any homes that are older than 1978. In order to make that determination, we have to hire environmental inspector to go out and determine where the lead is. So this is for this contract, and this is all grant funded.
This is all what funded?
Grant funded.
Grant, yes. Thank you.
Okay. And you asked about this in a previous meeting. It is now, thanks to communications, it's online for people to apply.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Anybody else? That's it, Madam Clerk.
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,924, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Reliable Foundations LLC to repair foundation at Hispanic Resource Center, 4312 Florida Avenue, in accordance with electronic bid 25-2178 in an amount not to exceed $19,750 for the Community Development Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,925, an ordinance approving amendment number 6 to the agreement with Linfield, Hunter and Junius Incorporated for professional services relating to the Rivertown/South Kenner drainage improvements, increasing the agreement amount by $118,530 to a total not to exceed amount of $715,480, and extending the term of the agreement for the Department of Federal Program and Compliance. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Mr. Gonzalez?
This is a drainage project that dates back to 2016. Okay, primary purpose for the project is to alleviate or eliminate flooding that takes place along Williams Boulevard between the railroad tracks and Reverend Richard Wilson Drive. Over the years, we have had 5 amendments. 3 were for time extensions, and the other 2 were for additional professional services required for the project. This particular amendment addresses an issue that developed during construction at the end of Duncan Street, which is where the outfall for this drainage project is being located. CN Railroad had indicated to the design consultant years ago that there were 3 sets of telecommunication lines within CN right-of-way. During the construction period, which started last summer, it was realized that there were not 3 sets of telecommunication lines. There were 7 sets of telecommunication lines. So the 36-inch outfall pipe that the design consultant had designed to come across the railroad tracks, we were not able to continue with that mentality or that philosophy. And so instead of doing the 36-inch jack and bore across the railroad track, which is impossible because of all the telecommunication lines, we are going to go ahead and design and build a mini drainage pump station at the end of Duncan Street, which will allow us to pump water across the railroad tracks with a much smaller pipe. Now, this amendment is going to generate an increase of roughly $118,000 in design and resin inspection and surveying services, but that's the reason for this amendment. We're changing course. We can get across with the 36-inch line, and we still have a contractor on board. The project is pretty much finished. Construction is being financed with local money and federal money. So once this amendment is approved, we're going to issue a notice to proceed to the consultant to finalize the design of a very small pump station for us to be able to pump water with a much smaller pipe that we're going to be able to get across, even though there are 7 telecommunication lines there.
Thank you for the details. You always do a good job. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Mr. Gonzalez, once this part is finished, the design phase, the actual pump itself will cost more money, right? That will be added to
Well,
this?
by not being able to install the 36-inch line across the tracks, we're going to save some money. Okay, and some of the money that we're going to save is going to be applied towards this pump station. So right now, it's hard to say if we're saving any money on this particular issue or not. Later on, we're going to come to the council because this project, even though it's practically complete, is not totally complete until we install this mini pump station, but we're going to come before the council for a construction change order. And that's going to detail you know, what has been taken off the project and what has been added to the project.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No.
I have a question
Yes,
about that pumping station on Duncan Street.
If you will,
because-
state your name for the record,
Oh,
please.
I'm sorry, Pearl Gloston. I
Okay.
own the property at 418, 416, 414 and a half Duncan, 412. How would that affect us on Duncan Street? Putting a pumping station in there and covering the 8 houses we have there?
Okay, it should not affect you in any way or form, as far as I know. It's going to be at the very end of Duncan Street. It's going to be a very small drainage pump station, and it's going to allow the drainage project that was envisioned to alleviate flooding from William Boulevard, to work. But as far as, yes, it's going to be a mini pump station, and at the very end of Duncan, and from my point of view, I don't think it's going to impact you in any way or form.
Well, the last flood we had affected us, and it wasn't supposed to, and we got water in all the houses, all 7 of them got flooded. Because the street was so flooded, and some of them were raised, and they got affected, the floors and everything. We had to take all the floors out of the house because there was so much water under those houses that were raised.
Well, this particular project, the drainage system for this particular project is an independent drainage system. It's not tied in to the existing drainage system in that area. So as far as flooding, there was a lot of flooding from the last event. It was a high-intensity rain event. Some of the airport pumps did not function well. So there were a number of components that caused a lot of flooding throughout Kenner. And it was not just limited to this area, it was other areas throughout the city.
Well, if you're going to eliminate the water from Williams, you're going to route it to Duncan Street. So if we have another flood, we're going to get more water because it's coming off of Williams and it's headed to the pumping station on Duncan Street.
No, not quite.
Okay.
The drainage system is an independent system. Yes, we're going to take some drainage off Williams Boulevard. It's an independent system. It's not tied into the existing drainage system that is out there. Once it gets to the pumping station, it's going to pump the water across the railroad tracks to the Duncan ditch. So it's not going to impact the existing drainage system. As far as the existing drainage system on Duncan, I believe you had mentioned that it needed some improvements as far as clean and flushing. I believe our Public Works Department was there a couple of months ago, and they clean and flush all the drainage structures and the drain pipes.
Mm-hmm. Will we be able to talk to someone before you all start this and show us a graph of how it won't affect our houses on Duncan Street?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
I guess when the design is, somewhat almost complete, we'll let you know, and so you can come see.
Anyone else? No? Madam Clerk?
Yes. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,926, an ordinance amending ordinance 12,620, which approved an agreement with Cannon Cochran Management Services Incorporated to add annually to Section 2 of the ordinance. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
If we can get an explanation on this one as well.
It's just that the full amount, what was originally passed did not have the word annually behind it, and it's a multi-year contract. So the 103,500 is an annual amount, and it has been spent out. So now that we're in the second year, we don't have any funding because the word annually just wasn't put in the original ordinance.
And again, what is this for?
CCMSI is sort of our in-house, out-of-the-office adjusters, so they handle like our workers' comp claims, any kind of property damage claims that come through for somebody runs into a hole and has a popped tire. They handle those types of things. They also handle our claims before lawsuits are filed, if someone makes a claim in a car accident case or something like that.
Question, whose legislation is this? Just curious.
This is ours.
It is legal?
Yes,
Okay.
this is for legal.
Okay. That's all I have. Anybody else? No, Madam Clerk?
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,927. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Jack B. Harper Electrical LLC to provide emergency repair for traffic control system post-disaster on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid 25-6909 and an amount not to exceed $500,000 annually for the Public Works Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Seeing no
Nope.
discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,928. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid received from Box Wheelchairs to purchase 3 WCMX sports chairs funded by NPRA in accordance with electronic bid 25-2180 in an amount not to exceed $16,785.74 for the Parks and Recreation Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilwoman McKinney. Seeing no discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 13,929. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from BLD Services LLC for 25th and Salem Sewer Lift Station replacement in accordance with seal bid 25-6911 in the amount of $882,500 for the Department of Wastewater. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Lahat.
Ms. Joanne, is this yours? Please, thank you.
Yes, this legislation is, and this bid is going to construct a new lift station to replace the existing sewer lift station that is on the south bank of Canal Number 14. That's between two streets, which has been hard to maintain. And it's going to be a brand-new lift station, a submersible station at the end of Salem Street, so that we can access the station more easily, maintain it better. It'll be all brand-new pumps, whole brand-new station.
This is a major overhaul, this one.
Yes.
Any questions?
How old's the lift station now, currently? Old?
Yes.
It's old.
I've been here 34 years, and it's been longer than that, so yes.
Jeez.
Okay.
Ouch. Okay. Thank you. Madam
All
Clerk?
council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 13,930. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to remove, furnish, and install one new air-cooled rooftop unit at Office of Motor Vehicles in accordance with electronic bid 25-2179 in an amount not to exceed $23,500 for the General Services Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Seeing no discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 13,931. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Triad Paw Prints to purchase screen-printed T-shirts in accordance with electronic bid 25-2171 and an amount not to exceed $6,523.35 for the Kenner Fire Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Councilman Swarth?
Liz, would you go ahead and enlighten everybody on this right here?
Sure. So y'all passed this recently. The lowest bidder could not stand by his price, so we had to rescind that one, and this is the next lowest bid, so.
Thank you, ma'am.
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 13,932. An ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with the parish of Jefferson to grant a servitude for the construction of the new Wood Lake Pump Station. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Seeing no,
Question? Is there any money associated with this one? And if so, how much?
Not city money. The parish is financing the entire project. The estimated cost of the project is $14 million. The reason for the need for this ordinance is that the work is going to take place within a city-owned park. Therefore, they're going to need servitudes to be able to conduct the work. But no, the parish is financing everything.
Okay. They passed the legislation already on their end, or no?
I believe they have, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But they drafted the agreement. The city reviewed the agreement, made some comments regarding maintenance. They will be maintaining all the improvements. And they have agreed with our comments, and I think we're all on board. I'm not 100% sure whether they adopted. They don't do ordinance. I think they normally do resolutions, but I believe they have done that.
And this is a totally new pump station?
A brand-new pump station, 120 CFS, and it's 4 pumps with a permanent generator.
Beautiful, okay. Thank you. Anybody else? No? Madam Clerk?
All council members in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance amending the 2024-2025 capital budgets to budget the increase in funds received from riverboat fees. Item 16B is an ordinance approving a conditional use for a minor automotive repair shop on lots 34, 35, and 36, square 190, Briarwood subdivision, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which property is zoned C2 General Commercial in accordance with plans dated June 12, 2025 by Ron Kowalski, Architect, case P925. Item 16C is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a non-lethal training ammunition and firearm conversion kits from Ultimate Training Munitions Incorporated, a sole source provider, in an amount not to exceed $12,000 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsibility received from Vehicle Parts and Equipment Incorporated to furnish and install vehicle accessories in accordance with electronic bid 25-2182 in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16E is an ordinance approving an increase to the not to exceed amount established to furnish and install light bars and sirens from Vehicle Parts and Equipment Incorporated utilizing state contract numbers 4400 005417 and 4400022051. Item 16F is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with All South Consulting Engineers LLC regarding the Jalpy and Osborne Sewer Lift Station rehabilitation and an amount not to exceed $227,825 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16G is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with ECM Consultants Incorporated regarding the 27th and Dawson Street Sewer Lift Station rehabilitation and an amount not to exceed $250,893.35 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16H is an ordinance authorizing the use of State of Louisiana contract number 4400032587 with United Rentals North America Incorporated for rental of industrial equipment on an as-needed basis and an amount not to exceed $500,000 annually for the wastewater department. Item 17 is reports from the council and or special committees. Councilman Brannigan?
Yes, I've been getting a lot of calls. People are getting a lot of tickets in the city of Kenner, and I think it's a good thing because we're slowing down some of these speeders that are all over the place. And the ones that really bother me have been the ones in school zones. You know, schools back in play, we need to drive the speed limits in the school zones. We don't need any children getting run over by someone in a hurry to go to Starbucks and pick up a cup of coffee. And basically, I think we need to be more aware of where these school zones are located and make sure you are in total control of your car. If you get a ticket, that's the way it is.
Anyone else? We have 18 is new business. Item 18A was taken at the beginning of the meeting. Item 19 is unfinished business and/or motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Taft? Name and district, please.
Greg Taft, 5th District. Mayor, sir, the mayor, sir, I was referring to 15C of the agreement, and I probably read it wrong, I'm not sure, but, 12C. 12C basically says, in its discretion, the city shall allow the public to access the observation dock at times agreeable to the city, and that's what I was referring to. Because I didn't know.
Yeah, no, we're in control of the access to that. The only thing right next to that is when they're going to lock their gangway and the barge where you can't get to it, but you can go right next to it to the observation deck and sit there.
Right, but that's what I was referring
Yes,
to, because
yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's two different, they have no control of our observation deck.
Okay, because I didn't know if he was controlling times that
No,
people had
no.
access, because remember, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not the smartest apple on the tree.
No, all they have is their gangway and the floating dock, the barge.
Okay.
Right.
Then the only other thing I have is that at the boat launch, I've noticed that there's been some silt coming into that little place, and there was supposed to be a breaker built at the mouth. And as I understood it, money had already been allocated from Jefferson Parish to have the jetty built to keep that silt from coming in. And I was wondering if anybody here knows the status of when that jetty was going to be completed, so that, because the boat silt is now coming in into that boat launch, and it makes it difficult, or it will make it difficult for boats to go through there if it keeps building up like it did before. Because it got out of hand, and then they had to dredge it, and that's why they got the money for the jetty. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, yes, it was a Jefferson Parish District 4 Council project to redo the ramps and to add a rock jetty. I think the rock jetty, it was, Jose, tell me if I'm wrong, $2.5 to $3 million for the rock jetty. When the engineering firm got out there to start designing what had to go where, it jumped up to a $12 million project. So there's no money for that. Councilwoman Bohannon still has the money, and I think she's going to enhance some other part of the lake shoreline. And we're going to enter into an agreement with, it's a tug wash is what it is. It's the cheapest way to put a tugboat in it with certain propellers to blow it back out. So we've been keeping an eye on it. There was a 40-foot boat in there over the weekend that had no troubles so far. So yeah, we will have to push it back out. So the cheapest, most cost-efficient way is a prop wash is what it's called, by a boat.
Thank you, Mr. Taft. The next two gentlemen, I believe they were here earlier for the power outages, but I'm going to call their names anyway in case they wanted to speak. Rod Solorzano, is he here? No. Joseph Achapeni, I believe he's left. Yeah. Ryan Nugent? Yes, sir, please. Name and district, sir.
Ryan Nugent, District 3. I know everybody's ready to get out of here, so I'll try to keep this super brief. First off, thank you, Councilman Wilmot. And then I'd also like to thank the mayor and the administration for putting on the first of the recycling and drop site town halls last night. I thought it went very well, and I definitely commend the effort to solicit citizen feedback on this matter. Second, and this is a very specific thing, I've been wondering about this property located right here at Williams and Airline behind the Rivertown sign. The grass is 4 and 5 feet high, so I was just wondering, is this private property or city-owned property? And then if it is city-owned property, is there a reason that it's not being maintained? And then the last thing that I have is concerning, and actually the mayor already answered several of my questions concerning the new landscaping along Power Boulevard. A number of people have expressed concerns about maintenance, so I think that getting that information out there, I don't know exactly what you said, Mayor. I was a little confused in terms of the time frame, and then I think you indicated that Mr. Shane had agreed to pay for maintenance for a period of time. Is that accurate? And then what was that time frame, and then sort of what is the plan for maintenance on the back end of that? I know we've continue to have some struggles with other, landscape maintenance things, both due to finances and sometimes to manpower. Don't want to, I'm not looking gift horse in the mouth on this. I love the way it looks, especially at night. I think it's a huge improvement. So again, I just wanted to find out about some of these maintenance plans.
Yes, he donated the I guess, landscape architecture, the plants themselves, all the labor, and we kind of have a gentleman's handshake on the maintenance. He's pushing, and I've agreed to it because maintenance is a big deal. Whenever you add this stuff, you don't want the weeds coming through it, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna approach the council to try to put a sign there that says the Shane Family Art something, and he's confident that his daughters will continue the maintenance of the landscaping. So that's kind of where we're at today.
The property in question was at Williams and
Airline, right here.
southwest corner?
It's the railroad property, yes.
It's the railroad property.
Okay, so can we cite them with code enforcement?
That's going to be very difficult. They cut that grass only 4 times a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And they probably due for a cut, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we constantly on the phone with them. But no, it's all railroad property.
Okay, appreciate the info. Thank you again.
Yeah, Mr. Newton, on that issue, hopefully I'm trying to get a meeting with Congressman Carter, who says that he can deal with the railroad. We've exhausted everything to try and deal with them. So if by the next meeting, I would have met with him, I'll let you know about it.
Okay, sounds great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
City Council and the mayor. I purchased a piece of property at 2114 and 2116 9th Street in Kenner. Used to be the old B&C grocery store. It's a double there. And I had a lot of problems with it, and I walked away from the sale, and I got a call back that you all voted to keep it a double. They had voted to put it a single home, and they made it a double, and I purchased it 30 days ago, and I was repairing it. When I went to the closing, they told me that I didn't need a permit. There was no open permit. It had been sitting there since since Ida, and it was used as a squatter house and a drug house. And I purchased it, and I started working on it. I brought a crew in of 20 guys, and 2 days we did what we needed to do. We went through 3 dumpsters already cleaning that property up. I get a call from the guys to close the job site down that I needed a permit. Only thing I did is went in there and repaired the sheetrock, changed the light fixtures, changed the plugs, the switches, and everything. But I just got a permit yesterday to finish the house. And I had a chance to talk to the permit guy that came out, and I let him know I will fix that area. I will clean it up. I will keep it clean. I used to own 1001 South Sibley Street, across from Brian Chevrolet, and I turned that around. It was a crack house. It was 23 units. And I want to thank you all for letting me purchase the one at 2114 and 2116 9th Street. And I will keep it up. I will not be renting to anybody. I will light that area up. But I have one issue with the dollar store. They let people sit out there all day long, throw bottles, throw all kind of junk in the yard. I pass there 2-3 times a day and just pick trash up. They loiter on the property. I've called the policeman several times, and I asked for them to pass by during the night, in the day, even though I'm working on the property. But when I rent the property, I will be renting it to the veterans and the Department of Health and Hospital, which would be older people. And I'm just asking for the police department to help me keep that area clean. Because I was born and raised on Duncan Street, but we used to walk to BNC in the 70s and 80s to get groceries, little small things in our hand. But I'm just asking the city council and the police department and the mayor to help me to clean that area up, where I don't have to call the policeman or anything. I don't have problems with putting security cameras. I've called them, I called Energy to put lighting in that area and everything. But the dollar store seems to not want to do their part. And I just want to thank you all for letting me keep it as a double and not as a single home.
Thank you for your input, and thank you for caring about Kenner. And Chief, I don't know if you want to make any comments regarding. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? We have Jerry. I think the rest are going to be for the outages, but I'm going to call their names anyway. Jerry Jacob? No. Michael Pizak? No. And then Matt LeBlanc. LeBro, I'm sorry, LeBro. No. Anybody else want to make comment? Chief, if you will.
Yeah, on behalf of the Kenner Fire Department, we'd just like to thank and congratulate Captain Charlie Schaff. He retired on September 1st after serving the city for 27 years and 3 months.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else wish to make comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned.